Totally, totally hit the wrong button.
What happened to Stephanie? I haven't seen her forever.
All right. Now we are cooking with gas, y'all.
Hey, everybody. It's your friend CL King, and I am the host of Impacting Life 24/7. It is our international podcast, and the core reason why it exists is simply to do this one thing: impact lives. And you know, I am so blessed that we are now at the 200th episode of this amazing journey. But you know, it wouldn't have been possible had not all of these spectacular guests took a risk and took a chance on me to come on our show. So I want to give you a few excerpts from some of our guests of the past and what they had to say about their experience on Impacting Life 24/7. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Teresa Serio. I'm a singer-songwriter from New York City, and I love CL King. I have been on Impacting Life. It was late 2020 during the pandemic, and we hadn't met prior to that interview, so I wasn't really sure how it's going to go. Sometimes with new interviewers, you don't know what you're going to get. But CL was very prepared. He did his research. He knew my whole backstory, and he made me feel very comfortable right from the beginning. And I really enjoyed the whole arc of his interview, and just thought it was a great presentation. And I've seen his other shows, and he takes a genuine interest in his guests, and he's very warm, he's genuine and sincere and authentic and smart, and he's a veteran, so he gets it. I'm really looking forward to being on Impacting Life again next year to promote my autobiography that's going to be coming out. So just keep doing what you're doing, CL, helping to change people's lives for the better. And we need more of you out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
Hi, I'm Benita Bernie Simmons, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Impacting Life 24/7 for all that you do in providing information to our community. Thank you for your forward thinking. Thank you for allowing entertainers such as myself to be a part of your show. I'm looking forward to many more interviews, and I'm looking forward to working together with you as you impact lives 24/7. Congratulations, fellas.
Hey, the Madrigals here.
AKA the McGriddles.
We've had the opportunity to be on Impacting Life 24/7 podcast with CL King twice, and each time it's just been amazing. We share CL's heart in impacting the world and impacting people's lives. We've just had an absolutely great time.
We really share his heart. We're so proud and honored to be a part of the journey that he is going after and impacting the world and the communities that we serve. Thanks so much, CL.
There's so much I can say about being on CL King's Impacting Life 24/7 show. He is a motivational speaker. He has you hyped and amped up and ready to be on his show. And it was such a blessing to connect with him and be able to share my story of turning my pain into my purpose, and just being there to share that with him and hear his input on that as well. I am so happy to celebrate his 200th episode alongside with him. Thank you, my brother, for always encouraging me and having me on your show not once, but twice. Congrats on the 200th episode.
Impacting Life 24/7 is one of the best shows I've ever been on. CL King knows how to provide his audience with valuable information. I got to share my story and reach people from all over the world. Thank you for what you're doing, CL King and team, and congratulations.
Hello, Mr. CL King. Just stopping by to congratulate you on your 200th episode of Impacting Life 24/7. You are phenomenal. I can't even say much about you. I love you and thank you for having us on your show. Keep up the good work. Grandma would be so proud.
Hi, CL King. I wanted to congratulate you on your 200 episode mark for your podcast. I also wanted to thank you for allowing me and my mom to be on your podcast, not once, but twice. I can't wait to be on more episodes. Congratulations.
Hey, Tamar here from the Road Beyond Recovery podcast. I absolutely enjoyed being a guest on the Impacting Life 24/7 show with CL King. CL just makes it so easy to chat and share your story and be vulnerable, and that's why I absolutely love what you're doing, CL, is you're spreading hope, inspiration, and also possibilities that when we overcome adversity in our lives, it's amazing that the impact we can make. So CL, thank you so much for doing what you do.
Hello, beautiful people. I am Vince Warnock, all the way from Wellington, New Zealand, and of course the Chasing the Insights podcast, here to tell you what it was like being on the CL King show. And I can tell you this, I felt empowered, I felt inspired, and I felt like I belong. Seriously, CL, I love the work you are doing, my man. I love what you and your team are building. It was an absolute honor and a privilege being on your show. Plus, you are, of course, my new brother from another mother. And if I had it my way, you and your velvety chocolate voice would be introducing me into every single room I go into. Haha. Congratulations on 200 episodes. I'm looking forward to being on your show again sometime in the future.
Hi, I just wanted to say that my experience being interviewed by CL King for the Impacting Life 24/7 podcast was amazing. I really enjoyed speaking with CL and having the opportunity to share my story. I really feel that his podcast is going to change the world by sharing these stories of hope and inspiration to others. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, Tim from Focused on Forward here. So why is a program like CL King's Impacting Life 24/7 so important? Because it does just what the title says. CL talks with people from all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, and have gone through so many different things. But the best thing about his conversations is that they're real. CL talks to people because he cares. He wants to make that impact. He wants to help change lives. He wants to impact lives. And that's not a common thing in this world. So to have a host of a show who's not just doing it for show is awesome. So CL, congratulations on all your success, and I can't wait to see how many more lives you get to impact.
Hi, Hope Rieger here. I'm just wishing you congratulations on reaching 200 episodes. You're impacting lives of many 24/7, including mine. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm extremely grateful to be a tiny part of this. And good luck on 200 more.
Hi, I'm Chris D.T. Gordon. I had the pleasure of being on CL King's Impacting Life 24/7. I don't know if it's too apparent, and maybe I'm just pointing out something that is readily available to see, but CL and I are brothers. It's true. I know we have a different last name, but that's really the only difference. We both want to help people. We both want to use our soapboxes, if it were, to share our voice and help others share theirs. I greatly appreciate CL for allowing me to share my voice on his podcast, and I was so happy that he agreed to join me on my own podcast called Scar Bearers. CL, man, it's been a ride so far. I've enjoyed seeing your posts and your videos and watching you grow as a speaker and as a place where people can share their own voices. And I look forward to seeing 200 more videos of yours. Have a great day, brother. I love you. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. That is Impacting Life 24/7. Some testimonials about what we do on this show, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to share that with you. I kind of wanted to open up the show with that kind of montage of people. That's probably about 8 to 10% of the total guests that we've had on our show. Again, we're celebrating our 200th episode, and let me do something here real quick. I'm gonna show you kind of how we open the show up. We open the show up live every night, every Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. We've been doing that since 2019. Nobody really thought this was going to evolve into anything, but we knew that we were going somewhere with it, and we just had to have a little bit of consistency. So this is how we step in the show. Yeah. What you say, Black? Now look, that's Brian Popin. Brian Popin, many of you may not know who Brian Popin is, but Brian Popin has performed on TD Jakes' platform. He's performed on all the major evangelical platforms, and he is a gospel recording artist who I knew back when I was 18 and a staff member at Church on the North Coast back in Lorain, Ohio, when I was a foster kid. We reconnected during the pandemic, and I said, listen, man, let me use your music sometimes for our show just to inspire people and promote what you're doing, because I know times is hard. He said, you got it, brother. An international multi-platinum gospel recording artist lets us use his music. And so when we open up the show, one of the things that is important for us, you can see by our guests, but one of the things that we try to key in on is introducing the people. Listen, I've spoken in over 360 locations throughout the country and North Carolina. And sometimes, Greg can attest to this, sometimes when folks introduce me, I just assume they just don't introduce me. So when someone is a guest on our show, just like if somebody's a guest in your house, we literally take out the velvetly red carpet and roll it down the gangway so those folks can feel important. We tell them, step into your miracle, yo. What you say? What you say? Step into your miracle. And every person, when I finish introducing them, because of course I'm out of breath because I put everything into it, they have always said, CL, that is the best introduction I have ever received. Is that not true, Stat? Is that not true, team? They always say that. And the reason why we want them to know that the introduction is important is because they are important. People take time out of their schedules to come on and become vulnerable, to make themselves accessible to people all around the country. And the last thing I want to do is say, well, we have tonight Greg Smith coming to talk about his book. Man, fully on that noise, we got to bring it up. Come on, you ready? And they can't believe it because most podcasts don't roll like we roll, man. But that's why it's called Impacting Life 24/7. I don't see y'all moving to the left and to the right. Come on. What you say, Maggie? I see you out there. Go ahead, girl. Wow. Mike, you better move that bobblehead, boy. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that we have this desire to make Impacting Life 24/7 and an event. Like, it's not just a show. It's not just a podcast. Maggie done fell out of her chair. It's not just a podcast. We make this thing an event. And so I want to thank everybody for taking their time out. I got to go on to the live section there. Greg, are you on the live, Greg? Yes, thumbs up, no. If not, that's fine. I'll just check it out myself. I want to speak to our live audience as well as the folks that are joining us. I mean, I'm cool that people came into the Zoom room because I'm usually in here by myself, with the guests. let me tell you about the history of Impacting Life 24/7. I'm not going to bore you. This is going to be something that you're going to be like, okay, I got some real deal out of this time and this party. Okay. In fact, I got something even special. Everybody, let's see here. Greg, let me get to the live, brother. I was live. Let me get to the real live. Let me see who's on right now. If you are on our live right now, I need you to type in the chat box, Impacting Life. That's all you got to type in there, Impacting Life. If you type in the chat box, Impacting Life, I got a special gift for you. Maggie, you're already in the room. I see Stephanie in the room. So we got a special gift that we're going to give to y'all because y'all came to the party. And it's going to come from the Impacting Life 24/7 merch store, y'all. You just didn't know that this was your night, baby. Ha! Yeah, that's right. So everybody that types in the chat box, Impacting Life, and everyone who's joining us in our virtual stage here in Zoom, we got a free gift for you. And again, you can go to clkingspeaker.com and see all the stuff that we got in our merch store. We got merch store from Impacting Life, merch from Impacting Life 24/7, as well as the Impact Motivator, which I am an Impact Motivator. So I'm going to give everybody a free gift out of our merch store today that participate. So thank you guys. And the reason why we started this back in 2019, before there was ever a pandemic, before there was ever marches across the globe, before there, Mariah, you ain't getting no Charity, you ain't getting one. They try to get something free. Look at that. Look at the family trying to get something because they know that merch is expensive, boy. Black, you tried to type in there too, didn't you, Black? Listen, back in 2019, before there was marches, before there was attention, before there was a pandemic, before there was anything, we said that we wanted to do something beyond just waiting around for people to invite us to come. Now, listen, our mission is to impact one life one day at a time. Greg and I have traveled over probably 7,000 miles on multiple locations and stratospheres, all the while juggling our regular lives too. And that number has reached upwards of 400,000 people in person. I'm not talking about our online presence, just in person events, whether it be national nights out, whether it be conventions and conferences that I've been the keynote speaker at, whether it is week long or month long or 6 month long campaigns that we do for school systems or boys and girls clubs. We have done so much, Greg, that I actually forgot all the stuff we've done, bro. I mean, I really have. I can't even remember anymore. But we said that we wanted to go a step further than that. We wanted to take it a little bit higher than just waiting around for someone to call us or knocking on people's door and begging for folks to let us in. You follow me? So we said, we're going to create our own platform where we can put out information and content and inspiration every time we want to. So 2019, we said we're going to launch Impacting Life 24/7. I went back through the records, and believe this or not, Black, I think you were the official first guest on Impacting Life 24/7. Now, Black, take your mic off mute, bro. Would you take your mic off mute? You know how to do that, Black?
Please don't show that video. I hope to God you don't show that video.
Mike, do you remember what our first show was like? Can you describe what our first show was like?
I hope you don't have a video.
You still got to unmute, Mike. You got to unmute.
I did.
Now you're still muted. See, this is why I don't. You're fired, Black. Oh no,
we can hear him.
Wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
All I'm saying is I hope you don't have a video that you're going to queue up. But yes, I could tell you about the first video podcast we did. It was an absolute debacle with a capital D, debacle. I don't know if he had a couch from IKEA with no back on it. And the microphone he got out of one of those machines that you put a quarter in the claw, tries to go down and get it and pull it out. Yeah, and what he was wearing and what I was saying, it was It was a bloopers reel.
Echoing, and I was trying to use a Bluetooth device that wound up cutting off right in the middle of the episode. And listen, we started out on a different platform than the platform we're on now.
It was called Messy. And that's exactly what it was. It was messy. Why would you pick a platform called Messy to run a podcast?
Because guess what, Greg? It was free, right?
It was, yeah. You get what you pay for.
It was so.
Oh man,
it was so free that you couldn't even host your podcast without their little tagline being on the front end of your podcast. So it would come out like saying, "This podcast was created on Messy. Find your podcast on messy.fm." And I started to think about that. I said, man, Mike, this might be sending the wrong messages to people out there.
Well, and I could even get in on dial-up. That's why it was dial-up. That's why it was so. You're like, Black, it disconnected. I'm like, I'm sitting here. I didn't disconnect anything. Call me back.
Right. And I had yeah, right, Greg. Remember the moments and shows where I would be frozen and the guests would be unfrozen because I had such terrible internet. Spectrum Wi-Fi was not conducive to trying to run all the stuff that we have in this house, because everybody in the King household has a device plus some, and then my wife's running her own business, and so here I go trying to go live and I'm froze. And then I get messages from the team like, "Hey, King, where are you at, brother?" It was a disaster. And so that was kind of like the beginnings. And the first 30 or so episodes was more entertainment for us than it was actual valuable content. The first 30 or so episodes was more entertainment, us trying to figure out. I didn't know nothing about podcasts. I just knew that they were this thing. I didn't know if you had to. I really did not know. I didn't do my homework. I just said, you know what? I'm that kind of guy. I want to do something. Let's do it. And Greg was sitting back kind of like watching this from the 5,000-yard line. Right, building planes as we flew it, Greg. Greg was watching at the 5,000-yard line saying, "Okay, Chris, what have you gotten yourself into now, brother?" And so I tried to sucker in all of my friends to come on this show and see if we could get something off the ground. Like I said, the first 30 episodes, we were pre-recording. And then, 25 or so episodes. The episode I did with Mike was actually a live one, and it was so terrible I deleted it. You can't find that anywhere. The CIA can't find that episode. And so we started trying to do some pre-recorded episodes, and I wanted to sound all sophisticated like I was a PhD. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Impact, pinky in the air, latte kind of thing. And it just was not me. It wasn't fitting. It was not my style. I felt unnatural. And I said, listen, number one, messy.fm got to go. Number two, the equipment we got is straight ghetto. So we're going to have to do something about that. We had some ghetto, jankety old equipment. And number three, I felt like I needed some pressure on the show. So doing pre-recording, you can always go back and splice and correct and adjust and make it sound like it's studio quality. I said, yeah, but when I go to speak somewhere, they don't give me a second take if I mess up. Greg? Remember, Greg, when we went to Rochelle Middle in Kinston? Tell them about Rochelle. Remember Rochelle?
Yeah, I believe Rochelle was our first contract that we got with them cats. And I got to admit, they're wonderful people.
Right.
It was me, you, and Lee.
Yeah, at Rochelle Middle in Kinston, North Carolina.
Yeah. Amazing. That's all I can say.
Well, here's the deal. One of the stories about Rochelle Middle was that they had an international speaker come to the school the year before, and the kids ran him off stage. Now, this is a guy with a PhD, Mr. Hopty Topsy, and the kids, because Rochelle Middle is in the hood now, okay? It is not in suburbia. It's in the hood. And so we get this contract. We ink the deal. Greg closes it out. And they're like, well, listen, the teachers were like, we'll all be stationed, on every aisle. And the principal was like, we just want you to know that, hey, listen, they ran out an international speaker last year. These kids are something else. I said, listen, y'all need to go to the sides of the room. And I said, turn the kids over to me. And when we're done with them, I'll give them back to you. And literally, Rochelle Middle School was one of the hypest schools we ever have been in. Those kids were the loudest, most hypest, most motivated kids. But that's a live environment, right? So my point in saying that is, I didn't want to do some pre-recorded stuff that's just starchy. I wanted to have some pressure. I wanted to be able to deliver. I wanted to be on my A game every single night. I didn't want to be able to fake it. I wanted what you see literally is what you get on Impacting Life 24/7. So when we switched from Messy.fm, we went to Podbean. Now, nobody had been listening to our show, right? Was your dog even listening to the show, Mike? I don't think your pit bull mix was listening to the show, right? Yeah, see,
No.
look, we're boring those two dogs over there, Maggie. No one was listening to the show except for Greg, me, and occasionally Mike when he wouldn't have men's group. And so we're like, we got to switch platforms. We got to step up our game. And a good friend of mine listened to one of the shows that we had uploaded to YouTube. And he said, King, you're a great speaker, but that show is terrible. The sound quality is terrible. So we made the investment in some high quality, high definition equipment. We actually ran cables from down at the modem downstairs up into my studio here so my computer will never freeze. And we bought a soundboard. I don't just run this show out of a computer. It's ran through a soundboard. We have high definition lighting, high definition cameras, high quality and definition microphones, and we switched to Podbean. So our nobody listening platform went to in about a year, it went to something that really has shocked us all. Okay. I just want to share this with you because I know it's kind of a tough to believe. Where Impacting Life 24/7 has been downloaded: the United States, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, France, United Kingdom, Germany, Nigeria, Brazil, Netherlands, Ireland, Mexico, Chile, Spain, Czech Republic, Greece, Israel, Iran, Italy, Japan, Kenya, Panama, Philippines, Puerto Rico, Romania, South Africa, and several other unknown countries that they could not collect. We pause for effect, ladies and gentlemen, because when nobody was listening and we were fumbling around, we said this. We was fumbling. We said this. We do have a mission of impacting one life, one day at a time. And so every day that this opportunity presented itself, we said we were going to show up. Some of our shows were memorable. Some of our shows are etched in our hearts. Some of our oh, see.
Hold up.
We got to be careful because we don't know who's going to watch this, Mike.
All right. Well,
look, Greg. Okay, Greg.
Tax season is coming up. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Tax season is coming up in March, and I can't wait for that.
Okay, so there's top three. There's three guests that probably come to our memory very well. One guest took over the show and never gave it back. The other guest lit up a blunt live on the show.
Whoa!
And then the other guest, I think, was on heroin and Prozac at the same time.
Oh wow!
And this one of the guests was okay. So Greg booked one, I booked one, and I think Mike and Greg agreed to book one, and we all hold that over each other's heads. That hey, look, those shows will always be in the archives of memory. But the reality is that when you're talking about a podcast, I want you to understand something that's different from views on Facebook and, Instagram and all that. Because, you can make a post, you can make a video on other outlets on social media, and people can view it and you can get a view, but that doesn't mean they absorbed the content. Understand? So a podcast world is totally different than social media. Most people are scrolling just because they want to be nosy. We have so many people that watch us that don't ever say anything, don't ever give a thumbs up, don't ever acknowledge it. But then you see them out in town and they're like, man, that was a great show last night. I'm like, well, why don't you give a brother a shout out? So the podcast world is different. Let me show you another example of how our show is carried. It went from being on Messy.fm. This is the party, y'all. It went from being on Messy.fm to being on these many platforms. Ready? Apple Podcast. Let me open up the file there. Apple Podcasts, Google Chrome, Podbean, Bullhorn, Podcast Addict, Pandora, Safari, Spotify, Lavi, Amazon Music, Facebook, Opera, Alexa, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Overcast, YouTube, Castbox, Mobile Safari, Android Player, CFN Network, Firefox, iOS Player, Chromecast devices, and Sonos, as well as Podbean, which is our host platform. So it went from being seen nowhere to being seen on 27 different platforms. Every time we do a show, it's uploaded to those platforms every single time. So that's why our sponsors are getting they really getting a steal. Our sponsors are, because our sponsors get an advertising commercial on our show every single time we do a show. It's high quality commercial. And that means that their product, their book, whatever it is getting hosted on 27 different platforms. Now, when you say, okay, well, that's great throughout the U.S., tell us about what's happening. Tell us what's happening in the U.S. We heard about outside the U.S., but tell us what's happening in the U.S. This is Impacting Life 24/7, ladies and gentlemen. We are celebrating 200 episodes, and let me tell you something. Most people can't get past 35. Because once you realize the dedication, the commitment to show up, the diversity that you need to present, it wears on you. Well, here's the areas where our show is downloaded. Ready? North Carolina, Virginia, New York, Texas, California, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, Washington, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, Montana, Illinois, New York, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Colorado, District of Columbia, Indiana, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Alabama, Arizona, Kansas, Louisiana, Minnesota, South Carolina, Connecticut, Idaho, Maine, Michigan, Missouri, North Dakota, Nebraska, Oregon, West Virginia, Wyoming, and several other states that they can't pull the data from. Look, y'all, we went from, this is why we had to celebrate at 200. We went from the local dog catcher not even listening to the show to now it has been downloaded in 41 states in America. We're looking to get to all 50. And so now that sounds really good, but let me tell you something. Podcast data is different from views, okay? When we changed and we said, you know what, the pandemic has hit and everything is going upside down and nobody, we got to create some content or else we're going to lose our minds. Let me tell you what we did. We said we're going to make it an intentional thing to get inside every market that we can. So from May of 2020 till now, our content has been viewed. Are y'all ready for this? We have 236,000 views, 236,204 views. Ooh. And 47,937 clicks on our that drove people back to our platform. So we put it out there, people viewed it, and they said, you know what, we need to check this out. So 47,000 of them, a third of the 236,000, a third of them said, man, we got to see what's going on with this Impacting Life 24/7. And we did that. We weren't really even selling anything. You know what we were doing? We were trying to bring people in to a haven of positive content. Our staff has called this, what we do, the cathedral of resources. The cathedral of resources. I mean, like when we have staff meetings, they all have to pray to CL King. But, reverence the Holy Father at the cathedral. But
Cue the music.
Yeah, cue the music, pull the lever, get me out of here. But the truth of the matter is that is a lot of people experiencing something that is positive. You can go back to every show we've ever done. We've done some tough topic discussions, but we've never tried to take on a topic that would alienate people. We took on the topic of George Floyd. We took on the topic of, some people got together with me and said, we'd like to discuss racism in the 21st century. I said, okay, but let me just tell you something. I'm very adamant about the messaging. We're asset about it. Like our goal is not, because our audience is so diverse, our goal is not to come off as some angry one way or the other of the bird wing group. Our goal is to try to bring people together, right? Our goal has always been that way, and that's the way we've been in our mission since we started back in 2008. And so when you look at those numbers there, you could begin to see that Impacting Life 24/7 is radically impacting the world. Look, let me just show you. This lady here, she came on our show. Her name is Poet Katrina McCain. She wrote a book about Because She Decided to Love. Because She Decided to Love is a collection of people understanding about how love is injected into everyday life and what we experience. People send me, I got books up to the ceiling here. Y'all know this book right here, 100 Simple Ways How to Manage a Successful Property and Evidence Room. Y'all know that brother right there? Yeah, I got it right here in my office. And what we did when we talked about this book is we said, listen, you need to get this in your hand as a resource, not just because if you're doing a property and evidence room, but Greg put a whole bunch of other leadership tips in here, and you need to get a copy of this book right now. I'm giving him a free plug tonight. Check that out. Another guy came on our show, Lon Jordan, Sketched by Design. Discover your unique design in the 21st century. Most of my guests send me their books before they come on the show. Lost Travel Found. This young lady here had lost her dad, and her husband was given a prognosis of get your affairs in order, you're going to die. They found out that they had misdiagnosed him. He had to get part of his nose removed, his eye removed. He received so much radiation that he can never get radiation again in his life. He can never get radiation again. But you know what he said? He said, I refuse to die. Y'all going to tell me something different. I am not going to die. And this book right here is full of that story. And man, imagine this getting into somebody's hands who feel like they've lost all hope. This is why Impacting Life does what it does. Nourish, Eat, and Repeat. This young lady here, which is Adrienne Delgado, she is a registered dietitian, and she said, listen, I'm going to teach you guys some ways how to eat without stressing yourself out. Because y'all know sometimes trying to be on a diet is stressful, right? You try to pick one diet, and you as soon as you go pick that diet, it's a birthday party that comes up, or you got to go out of town. And you right, Mike? Isn't that always the case? Yeah, that's always the case, right, Mike Black?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and so she came out with an idea that says, listen, busy families, busy people, I'm going to show you guys how to nourish, eat, and repeat. That's all you got to do. And so she was an amazing guest. This is Miriam Baldwin, Caregiver 2.0. She talked about how to prevent burnout from caring for your loved ones. This one was really powerful because Miriam's, just like Ashley's, their spouses had gone through a very bad physical traumatic experience. And she came on our show and said, listen, I'm teaching people now how to take care of themselves while they're taking care of others. Because listen, if you burn out while trying to take care of somebody else, you ain't no good to them. So that's another one. We just had this young lady on not too long ago, Flossie Jama. She wrote the book Village Vibes. She talks about how to eat from the earth. She's from Nairobi, Kenya, and she came on our show and she said, you know what, we have overcomplicated this thing relative to health and wellness. I went back to the roots. I went back to the earth, and she gave us some amazing tips on how to easily eat from the earth and be healthy. Look at this young lady, forever fit and flexible. You see how many people have come on this show, ladies and gentlemen, forever fit and flexible, feeling fabulous at 50 and beyond. This is a book by Cheryl I Love, and she said that, listen, I got my ninja certification at 40 years old. She became a ninja at 40. And when I had her on the show, I said, you know what is my problem? I need to put the potato chip bag down and get up off the couch. What'd you say, Black?
Definitely. I need to do the same thing.
In fact, I need to get these potato chip crumbs off my desk over here right now. Greg,
yes.
Greg, I don't know how you do it. How do you stay so in such good shape, Greg?
Dude, jeans.
Jeans?
Jeans.
Well,
he said jeans.
You know, I've been teasing Greg for a long time. Greg, come to the camera real close. Bring your head down here to the camera real close. I have said that Greg has an S curl or a Jerry curl. And he's been secretly hiding it for all these years. But Greg said it's all natural. So I went and looked at his anniversary pictures. He just celebrated, what, 36 years, Greg? 36 years of wedding bliss, and he had the same Jerry curl back then before Jerry curls was in. So I believe him. He doesn't have an S curl, and Mike doesn't have any curls. So how about that?
Beard curls should count, but
he's got the beard curls, right?
Right.
What's next? Preparing for Eternity by Dr. Nate Dunlap Jr. and helping people understand what's happening. We're unapologetic about our faith. We don't beat it. We don't beat people over the head with our faith. But if people are people of faith and they want to come on our show, they are more than welcome. They don't have to hide that under a bushel. This guy, the title of his book is really interesting. When I first saw it, I said, what are you talking about, brother? The Unlucky Sperm Club, and this is by my friend Nelson Tressler, and it actually has nothing to do with procreation, if you will, but it actually has to do with him being born in a situation where his mother was raped. And the guy who raped his mother was put in prison. And he says, you know what? I was that one unlucky cell, that seed that came into this world. Now I could just say, okay, I'm going to be a victim of the system. I'm going to let things fall apart, or else I'm going to be someone different, even though my circumstances were bad. Nelson Tressler, amazing, amazing man. He built a $1 billion real estate business in Las Vegas. The type of people that we have on the show are pretty remarkable. And then this gentleman here, David Hollingsworth, this really inspires me. Every time I look at the book, I kind of get convicted when I see it, because it's really simple. It says, get out the door. You know what he's talking about? Exactly that. Sometimes the hardest part of us, like trying to claim our destiny, is that first step. That very first thing that we need to do is just get out the door. So he was in a major motorcycle accident, left him to where he probably wasn't going to walk again. And he was totally down on himself, feeling all emotional. And he said, you know what? I just got to get out the front door. And so he started his journey to being a multi-marathon runner after the accident by simply doing that one thing, getting out the door. And so Impacting Life 24/7, ladies and gentlemen, is a multifaceted program. You guys, when you tune in, every night it's something different, right? Every night it's something different. Whether it's a DJ, Greg, whether it's a tax preparer, Mike. Nope, Greg, you don't get to get it.
Whether it's medicinal purposes,
whether it's for medicinal purposes, marijuana. And you know, we laugh, but the truth of the matter is that we kind of enjoy the fact that every night it's different. We kind of appreciate the idea that every night we bring into people's living rooms something different, but it has one central theme. And that central theme is impacting life 24/7. Charity says, I'd like to know what the panel's favorite live podcast was. So that's a good question. What was y'all's favorite podcast?
Man, I have a lot of favorite podcasts. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dr. Dunlap's, truthfully, because he hit a home run on what certain communities don't prepare for, the religious base. Right. And I'm not gonna get too deep in it, but if you're behind the pulpit, you know that you got to take care of everyone. I think, King, you said it best when you guys went to Texas, that what's church is for is for others.
Right.
So yeah, Dr. Dunlap by far one of my favorite guests.
Mike?
I have a few. I think the young lady from Texas that was on drugs and she turned her life around, but she did go to prison. I don't remember her name, but
that was a heavy.
That one really stuck out. And also the one that you and I interviewed, we both interviewed the gentleman who was wrongfully imprisoned in New York City. Mm-hmm. That one was really stuck out to me. And like Greg said, there were so many others that were just awesome. I just can't remember all of them because there's been so 200 is a lot to remember. Those are ones that just stick out.
Yeah, I like Vince Warnock. Vince Warnock from New Zealand, an absolute phenom in terms of marketing, and the way he delivers it is just like you feel like you just can't get enough. Of course, my man Lon Jordan was a great guest. He's a contributor to our Leadership Institute. And Lon is a content creator, and I like, what I like about Lon is no fluff. He is what you're going to get from him is the content. You're not going to get the 10,000 foot fluff. I do also remember what was the lady's name? Teresa Sareo. Remember her, Greg? She lost her leg in a tragic accident in New York City. That really stood out to me, man, that she was able to continue to sing and to sing for wounded warriors and amputees. That really touched my heart, man. We did that back in December, and that really touched my heart. And the thing that you got to understand is what you see on the show on Impact Life 24/7, you're watching it real time. But then to get it to to those 27 platforms, we have to go after the show is done, and we have to go and get everything aligned. We have to get it mixed down. We have to get all of the narrations put in there. We have to get the right typeset in there. And so a 1 hour show is about 2 to 3 hours of prep in the front end, and another hour to 2 hours finishing time on the back end. So to successfully do a podcast and do it the right way is about 4 to 6 hours per episode. Right? And what has happened is we've created a monster because people now have expected what we're doing. You know what I mean? They have grown to expect it. And the word has gotten out in the podcast community that you want to be on CL King's show. We just had Professor Pete Alexander on the show. He's got a PhD, and he talked about stress and how to reduce stress in the workplace. This man teaches corporate Fortune 500 companies how to de-stress their workforce. And he said, I want to get on y'all's show. So what do you think, Mike? I think what we're doing is we're creating number one for our guests, for people to come on. We're creating a place that is a place where they would want to come.
Correct. Definitely. I mean, and it's evident by people having repeat, wanting to come back and be on your show, and it's quality. It's not so much quantity; it's the quality of the people coming on the show, and it gives the viewers out there And we've talked about this before, CL. It's just like I always think of a truck driver or someone that's just listening, you know, because of all those platforms you have it synced into. They're listening, and they may listen later, you know, after the fact, but they get the message. You know what I'm saying? And so your
Right.
impact is far more reaching than you're downplaying it a little bit. And I understand we're celebrating, but it's far more reaching than I think you realize. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. That you know, it's that slow, steady drumbeat. You know that you know, and you're building it. You know, just your vision and how you're building it is impressive.
I told our team, we got a team of 5 people that help us put this show together because it's too much now for one person to do. But I told them that last October, our downloads for October 2020 were 38 or 36, right? Our downloads in October of 2020 were 36. Right. Our downloads for October 2021 are upwards of 400. They're almost 400. I'm sorry, not upwards, but almost 400. Here's the reality that a view is, like I said, somebody just passing by. They may turn up their nose and keep on going. But a download in a podcast means somebody intentionally downloaded your content. That means somebody took the time to stop. They have to click the download button. And usually if someone downloads your content, 80% of them will listen to it in its entirety. So we're, you know, even though we got, you know, when I said we got over, you know, over 250,000 views from 2021 through 2022, we're not really interested in the views. I don't really give a lot of attention to what's happening on the Facebook Lives. All we do is do that so that we can present a fresh content feel. But when we look back and we see that people are intentionally downloading this show, that's letting us know that what you guys have joined in on and what you guys are a part of is actually growing, and it is a legit movement. Black and I have talked about this. Our goal is to syndicate this show and have it worldwide. And then I can pay these guys, you know, $100,000 a year what they're worth, you know? Is that good enough? Is 100K good enough?
I'm gonna need more, brother. I'm getting ready to retire in 24 months.
Greg said that 33% that I get from your speaking fees ain't gonna nearly gonna cut it, man. Let me share the screen with y'all and let me show you guys real quick, if you guys got a moment, for our celebration. I just wanted to kind of unearth to y'all and pull the covers back on what really makes this show work. And I want to show you kind of like what we do in our live show. This is a commercial that we do for our sponsors. Let me get to the right file here. We do this commercial for our sponsors, and our sponsors are folks that have said that they will, every month, they will give a monetary amount in support to Impacting Life 24/7. And they do that every month. Well, every month that they do that, they get a free commercial or advertisement on our platform for the life of their sponsorship. Now, what does that money go to help? Okay, number one, none of this stuff is free. Okay, I want you to understand that. Messy.fm was the last free thing we had, right, Black?
That's it. That was a good investment that you got rid of it. You're out of here, freebie.
You're gone. You're fired. Yeah, Messy. Freebie.
Take that, Messy.
Yeah.
Literally cut it out, man. I mean, that's got to go.
So I just can give you a snapshot. Okay, to host it on Podbean, which is our host platform, is a monthly fee. To the calendar, we have an automated calendar system because we have guests that get with us from all across the world, not just in Eastern Carolina. We have guests from all over the country in multiple time zones and around the world. So I can't be, Greg can't be, Mike can't be up here with some sort of spreadsheet manually trying to make sure we get people in the right place. So we pay for that software that automates all of our guest scheduling. All of our graphics and all of our graphics design, we hired a gentleman to make what we present not look hokey. It's just that important. And if you're going to be in this space, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it well. and the equipment that we have is constantly on. We're trying to stay on the cutting edge. We're already due for a new soundboard that gives us additional capacity, like to take calls and have those calls seamless. Right now, the sound system that we have right now, I kind of gotta like rig a cord in here and all that kind. Man, we don't have time for that, man. Because when you start thinking about volume, we're going to go from 300 downloads a month to 300 downloads an episode, right? And when we get to that level, there's not going to be any time for us to hem-haw around with some jankety old broke down Fred Sanford equipment. So I'm sharing. You guys see Michelle Perry on the screen? Do y'all see her?
We do.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys information about our sponsors real quick. Our sponsors help us reach people from city to city, coast to coast, and around the world. Our gold sponsors, Michelle Perry. She is the host of the Successful Diligence podcast and best-selling author of The Pebble in My Shoe. You can connect with Michelle and get a copy of her book at successfuldiligence.com. Paula Cousson has dedicated her life volunteering in community youth programs such as the Young Marines. Paula believes that the greatest asset each young person has is at least one caring adult in their life. Donald Lamb is a gold sponsor, and he and his wife have happily been married for over 35 years. He is the proud father of one daughter and 3 sons. Donald honorably served his country over 22 years in the United States Army and retired with distinction. Active in his community, Donald is also the owner and operator of Mama's Boy Event Planning and Coordinating Services. Connect with Donald at facebook.com/Mama's Boy Events Coordinating. Our platinum sponsors, Gregory Smith. He is the author of 100 Simple Ways How to Manage a Property and Evidence Room. Get your copy today by reaching out to Gregory Smith on Facebook or email him at smithg1963@yahoo.com. Adrian Barker is the host of the Adrian Barker Speaks podcast, a life coach and CEO of Professional Global Etiquette. Please connect with her at professionalglobaletiquette.com. Mr. Mike Black from New Bern, North Carolina. He helps men throughout Eastern Carolina lead a faith-filled life. He is a compassionate leader in his church, a devoted husband and father. Dr. Nate Dunlap Jr. is the executive director of the PRF Institute. He is the author of What's Next? Preparing for Eternity and Don't Leave Me Like This, Inspiration to Leave a Legacy. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the PRF Institute is blessed to be that premier stewardship-based teaching ministry that truly responds to the needs of families and communities around the country. Find Dr. Dunlap and his amazing team at prfinstitute.org. Poet Katrina McCain is the author of Because She Decided to Love. This is a collection of poetry and prose about love and its impact on every relationship. This raw, uncut poetry book addresses the themes of how we experience love through loss, hurt, pain, grief, and passion. Get your copy of her book today at PaulKatrinaMcCain.com. If you would like to become a sponsor of Impacting Life 24/7, it's very simple. Just visit CLKingSpeaker.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that simple. So this party wasn't necessarily to ooh, there we go. Our sponsors, hush, y'all, hush. I had it on loop. This event wasn't designed for any ulterior motive. You know, sometimes people host events and, you know, they're trying to sign you up in the back or something like that. And I've always resisted that. And it's probably to my peril, especially when I get my book, because that's going to be something that we're going to have to market and it's going to be a part of the package. But the truth of the matter is that we wanted you to really see that this is so much bigger than just these 4 walls. It's so much bigger than the 4 flung corners of our state. It's so much bigger than the Eastern region and so much bigger than the 50 plus states in the United States. How many states are there? 50? Is it 50 states or 51? Yeah. So it's bigger than that. We have crossed over continents. We have crossed over land masses, and we've been able to do that because of a singular mission. Man, if we can impact a person in the Philippines, if it's just one person that night, we look at our views on Facebook and 3 people was watching. We're like, man. But we don't realize we go back and look at our other data and somebody downloaded the show in the Philippines. And they were hearing about, like last night we were talking with Tracy Cook. She was talking about her childhood abuse and how her husband beat her with a baseball bat when she was 9 months pregnant. 9 months pregnant. She was my guest last night from Australia. There could be somebody in the Philippines who's in an abusive relationship or feeling like they have no hope. That one person can tune in to Impacting Life 24/7 and be inspired to know, hey, look, your current situation isn't your lifetime situation. Your current situation doesn't mean that this is the end. There is hope. And we try to bring people on this show that induce hope within our audience. So before we go, this is something that we always do. And I'm going to ask these guys to do it for me since they're here with me. I'm going to ask Greg to go first. I would like for you guys to give a word of encouragement to our audience as we close out today. We will be right back in the saddle. This isn't the end of the year for us. We'll be right back in the saddle Monday night. But just give a word of encouragement to our audience and let them hear from the executive producer of Impacting Life 24/7.
Okay, wow, you put me on the spot, but the truth of the matter is that you can make
turn him up. Go ahead, Greg.
The truth of the matter is that you can make it. Everybody can make it. The unlucky sperm, you can make it. Just look in the mirror and tell yourself you can make it. No matter what, you can make it.
That's exactly right. And that's what we propel every time, Greg. Mike, what's your closing thought?
So my closing thought would be, it's not how you start, because obviously we started this podcast and it was a mess, but you know what? It's how you finish, and you learn from things and you just keep progressing, and just be encouraged and believe in yourself. You can do it.
Yes, and listen, Maggie and Stephanie, who joined us in the room, I got a free gift for y'all. I thank you guys for supporting us. Maggie's my adopted sister. She still got to bring my nieces over to see my little dog nieces. But we love and appreciate the support that we get. And see, here's the deal. Not every night people have to tune in, but we know that there are people who believe in what we're trying to do. And for that's why we continue to push. We continue to push because we know that this one element could impact the life of somebody that we don't even know. I will leave you with this thought. I gave a speech a couple weeks ago about the 12 soccer kids in Thailand that were trapped in a cave, and their coach was trapped with them. They went down to explore, and when they turned around, the water had risen beyond their capacity to return. And everybody was expecting, because they were down there for 8 or 9 days before they had the first human contact. Everybody was expecting that when they made that contact, that they were going to see a grave of 12 kids and a coach. But the reality is that those kids and that coach stayed alive. They did not die. They had a will to live that even superseded their circumstances. I called that speech the Cave of Possibilities. And I want you guys to understand this, that no matter what your circumstances are, I was an abused foster kid on the streets of Cleveland, homeless. No matter what the cave looks like, the stalactites and the stalagmites and the high rising waters, those kids said, you know what? We refuse to die. Even though our circumstances say, go ahead, it's okay. You live, ladies and gentlemen, every day in the realm of possibilities. And all I want to tell you from our entire team at Impacting Life 24/7 is that you are possible. Every time you wake up, your possibilities are absolutely endless. Now go tomorrow morning and walk in those possibilities. God bless you guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for celebrating with us. I'm about to go get in the bed because this is event number 6 after 6 days. What's up, Stephanie Echoes too? What's up, sister? Yeah. This is 6 events in 6 days. I'm tired. They don't pay me enough. I'm going to ask for a raise. So anyway, I love you guys. Y'all have a great night. Take care.
Bye.